Welcome to Week 3, CRJ 422. We are reaching the halfway mark in this class. Time sure does fly when you're having fun. Our learning objectives this week are evaluating criminal justice theories, explaining the significance of landmark federal criminal justice cases, and evaluating the impact of the Patriot and the Homeland Security Act. These learning objectives will be addressed in our discussions this week. Since a lot of students struggle with citing, plagiarism, and note-taking, I thought this week we would focus on these topics. This week's video will help with your final paper. However, I will be posting another video on the criminal theories this week. This week in Chapter 6, we will be discussing tracking ideas and sources. Note-taking during the process of writing your paper is very important. However, it is important to first make a list of all the references. A reference page is different than a bibliography. The way that these are different is that you place a source on the reference page, then it must be cited within the paper. Have you heard of the term SQ3R? This is a great way to retain what you're learning and taking notes. The S stands for survey. Look at the headings of each chapter. The Q stands for question. Come up with questions about the material. And the 3 R's stand for read, recite, and review. In the reading part, you will think about the survey and question part. In the recite part, you will answer the questions that you thought about before reading the material. And lastly, under the review part, you will review the questions, notes, and reread any other parts of the material. There are 3 different strategies for taking notes on sources: direct quotations, paraphrasing, summarizing. Robinson and Landrum list there's 2 ways for taking notes: note card method, which is a 3x5 note card, and computer notes. There are specific programs designed for note taking. There is another way to take notes, and that's through mobile flashcards. I have provided a few website links within the Week 3 transcripts that offer mobile flashcards. When you get a chance, check them out. There are a number of reasons why you might use direct quotations: expert declaration, direct support, effective language, historical flavor, specific example, controversial statement, material for analysis. When you use a direct quote, please make sure to include the page number from the original source. Also, if you cite material that's over 40 words, it should be in block format. Paraphrasing and summarizing. Paraphrasing is different from direct quotes in that the student will translate the author's original words into his or her own words, roughly using the same amount of words. Summarizing is similar to paraphrasing, however, is shorter than the original text. Did you know that Ashford offers the tool RefWorks to help manage citations and references? If you want to use RefWorks, you will first need to create an account. Visit www.refworks.com/refworks2 and use the group code RWAshfordU to start creating an individual user account. The next area that Robinson and Landrum discusses in the chapter is your own ideas versus the ideas of others. Common knowledge is easily observable information. Harris offered warnings about relying on common knowledge without citation. Hearing or reading the information in multiple locations does not make it common. A person's interpretation of common knowledge often gets intertwined with the knowledge. There is often disagreement about the accuracy of common knowledge. Harrison recommends using the golden test, which asks the question, will my reader likely believe that this information originated with me when it did not? Plagiarism is defined as an act of instant of using or closely imitating the language and thoughts of another author without authorization and the representation of the author as one's own work. There are 2 types of plagiarism: intentional and unintentional. Intentional means cheating on purpose. Some examples would be downloading and turning in a paper from the web, including a graph or table with citing the work, copying phrases, paraphrasing summaries without citations, and turning in one's own previous work. Unintentional, this could happen if the student did not understand the rules of citation. There are many ways to avoid plagiarism. Robinson and Landrum state that plagiarism hurts your character, cheats yourself, and is not a practice that is accepted. Robinson and Landrum state that as a rule of thumb, your paper should not contain more than 10 to 25% of unoriginal work. However, in this class, your work should be under the 20% unoriginal. You can use material from a previous paper. However, you have to get permission first, and it has to be less than 30% unoriginal work. You cannot just copy and paste that previous work into a new paper. You have to show new learning. If your paper is over 20% unoriginal work, then a penalty will be assessed. A paper that is 50% unoriginal work will receive a 0. Have you ever used the program Turnitin? This program will help you see how much of your work is unoriginal. To access Turnitin, please see the Turnitin Q&A under the Ask Instructor section of our classroom. You can submit your assignment through Turnitin via Waypoint. On the right-hand side, you will see an example of Turnitin, and it will show you the percentage at the top of unoriginal work. You can reduce your unoriginal work in 3 ways. Add more of your own words, summarize, or you can decrease the amount of unoriginal work. Don't forget, this week, under the Week 3 guidance, I will also be posting a video on criminal theories and a video on plagiarism. Have a great week, and again, if you have any questions, please let me know.